Welcome back, everybody. The show I look forward to each and every week. The one show that tries to bring us together as we define good together. What does it mean to unpack leadership, loyalty, and doing the right thing? What does that mean for businesses today? And how do they do it even when times get tough? We're going to talk with a man who knows how to do it instinctively. William Dean, welcome, sir.
Hey, good afternoon.
Is doing good that easy? As we all think we're doing good. Is it just an easy thing to do, or is it a challenge? We're going to find out today.
Yeah, definitely an individual choice, I think. So we got a great guest today. This is my first time meeting him as well. It's a real pleasure. So his name is Stanton Rowe. Did I say that correctly?
You did.
All right. So I'm going to let him talk about his really impressive background. When I was doing some research on him and I sent him a message, I looked at his background and I was really blown away and just excited to meet him and just hear more about what he's doing. So, and then we'll tie all that into doing good at the middle of it. So
we're going to struggle to keep up with the science, though, because this is a scientist in here today. He's going to talk in a language that we don't understand sometimes.
I hope not.
All right.
So tell us what you do.
Well, I do. I manage a group that does biomedical engineering, and I guess I've worked in this field for about 3 decades. Wow. Is in developing new medical therapies. But we do it not in the pharmaceutical science approach. We do this from a medical device approach. So this is something that we do collaboratively with leading physicians from around the world. And my specialty is to do it in cardiovascular medicine. So
and tell us the one thing I was trying to type it in. You said, well, I guess I'm most known for it. And then you spit out this thing, and I'm still trying to figure out what it is. So tell us what that is.
Oh, it's a mouthful. It's called transcatheter aortic valve replacement. And doctors, because it's such a mouthful, call it TAVR, which makes it a lot easier. But it's simply the way people had to have their valves replaced, their aortic valve replaced, when it failed, and it typically failed in patients who were 70, 80 years old. Wow. Yeah. They had to have open heart surgery. Imagine at an older age having open heart surgery is particularly challenging to recover from that. And there's no real medical therapy for it. So I put together a company with some really bright people, a couple of cardiologists involved who were amazing. And we developed the very first transcatheter valve, which means it's a valve that you can put in through the main artery in your leg. Wow. In a cath lab, and the procedure takes an hour in a cath lab. Wow. Rather than have open heart surgery.
Rather than split them open. And,
that's right.
Yeah, right.
That's right. And, patients can go home the next day. Wow. Which is amazing versus 9 days in the hospital and recovering from open heart surgery, which was really tough. So it was a really nice alternative, and it's changed the practice of medicine. There's been, probably 1.5 million of those procedures done since we developed it.
I think the show's over. You just defined good together here.
Absolutely. I have no more questions. What made you decide to get into this kind of work? I mean, you said 30 years, but over 30 years, what was your heart behind this?
Great. So I started in the pharmaceutical side, and I came to learn after a few years that it was boring. I'm sorry. All you could change is the dosage, the formulation, and the route of administration. Yeah. And that's not a lot to work with, right? So what the chemists give you either kind of works and you can play around with those few small things, or it doesn't. Mm-hmm. Whereas in medical device development, you're limited by the laws of physics and maybe the laws of biophysics, which is how things interact with the body. But it gives you huge opportunity to innovate and create new devices and therapies.
Wow. And I was reading somewhere, too, that you won an award recently.
Yes, I've been honored to win a few awards, but the one that I just got recently was the John Simpson Award. John Simpson was a very well-known guy in cardiology who invented many, many things and is very well-known and amazing guy. He was actually here in Orange County last week, and but I got the John Simpson Award, which was really humbling because of especially I know that man and what an innovator.
Was it for a product, or was it for the company, or did you come up with a patent or a paper, or what was it?
Well, it was kind of a lifetime achievement award. I have many patents. I think I have 78 issued and a couple of hundred pending.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I do a fair amount of invention.
Yeah.
But and you know, for me, doing good is about continuing to leverage what I think I have a little bit of skill to do, which is to develop these new therapies and work with a team of people who are a whole lot smarter than I am. I always figure if you're going to be a manager, if you're the brightest guy in the room, you hired wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your job is to be the dumbest guy in the room, and so
Which is how I feel today here. So I've done something right here.
I'm like, wow.
So yeah, I have a great team of people that I work with who are really brilliant biomedical engineers, and we enjoy doing this work because of the impact on patients, and that's really the key to, I think, doing this R&D, and that is if you put the patients first and you keep them centered in all the decisions you make along the way, you can do something really good.
Yeah.
Because you can really provide them with a better option for their care.
Absolutely.
It's not, if you're focused on making money, then you'll have the wrong priorities. If we focus on the patients, I think we will create value for everybody who invested their time and their money.
But in today's, I'm sorry to jump in again here, because we're at UCI's Beal Applied Innovation Center, which I think where you were at here once upon a time too. It's University Lab Partners.
And last night, yes.
And last night, there you go, for that whole event. We'll talk about that. It often comes down to money. There were people on the panel that said, what's keeping this from going forward? Money, money, money. So is money become the goal? Is money, the investors want money, the people who buy it cost incredible amounts of money to develop the stuff you're doing here. How do you not focus on the money?
Well, you focus on, my job as CEO is to help raise money for the work that we do. And that's a key part of what any startup CEO does. So we focus on money to keep the engine going. It's gasoline for us, but it's not the end product. The end product is not, if we focus on earning money, we might make the wrong decisions, the shortcuts, I don't know, people go wrong if they're focused on making money, in my opinion. If we're focused on doing what's right for patients and how we benefit them optimally, then I think we end up making money.
Yeah. Well, looking beyond obviously your career is impressive, what you've done. What drives you personally with this? Is it faith, family? I mean, what drives you to keep doing this after so many years?
Nothing can motivate you more than meeting a patient who's benefited from a therapy that you've developed. I always remember this in the early stages of developing this TAVR device. We were doing our early clinicals in Rouen, France, which is part of Normandy. And Dr. Cribier, who was the key inventor of this device, was there, and I'd been working closely with him for years. And he had implanted a series of early patients, and I was there to talk with him about our clinical studies. And one of the patients we had treated was there for her follow-up. And she learned that I was there and didn't speak great English, but she took the time to find me in the hospital.
Wow.
And came up to me and said, "Thank you for saving my life."
Wow.
And that's something doctors hear, but it's not something biomedical engineers hear, right? And she explained to me how she had been swimming in the south of France with her family, and she was on death's door.
Wow.
You know, she was in cardiogenic shock and was going to die imminently, and this device saved her life. And so to meet them and know the impact we can potentially have on them, the most motivating thing in the world,
Yeah.
right?
I
So
love that.
why do you keep doing it? I keep doing it because of those patients.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I have a student who just started our program. She's a freshman, and she's brilliant, I think, and she wants to do what you do.
Oh,
And it's amazing when I met you and I sent you the message, it wasn't because of that, because I hadn't even met her yet. But then I met her and I thought, wow, I'm interviewing someone like that on my show. And she's like, really? I'm like, so her plan is to finish because we're a business school, so her plan is to finish school through our program, and then she wants to be a nurse practitioner,
oh, okay.
but she wants to go into like what you talk about, everything you're talking about. She wants to be involved in that kind of stuff. So she asked me about it, and I was like, well, I'll start looking for someone that's in that field. And then I met you, and I'm like, man, it's just amazing.
Well, we certainly work with, I mean, nurses especially are important in the clinical research that we do, right? In that early validation of safety and effectiveness that we have to go through. They're the key people who kind of organize and implement those clinical studies.
Yeah. Okay. So I get another question for you is what would be the course for some student that's interested in doing what you do? Like, how would they start doing something like that?
Well, the two most common degrees are mechanical engineering and biomedical engineering. Biomedical prepares you a little better. Mechanical, with kind of an emphasis on biomedical, is also excellent. So I used to run the recruitment program at Edwards, and about half the students we had undergraduates, and about half had master's degrees. Very few with PhDs, because that's mostly an academic exercise. But you know, it's a great degree. One of the things I love about it is 50% women
Wow.
across the U.S.
Wow. Really amazing.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. I love
which
it.
is unusual,
Yeah.
right?
Somebody's tweeted in and wants to know why. What is there? Why do women? Because we're told women don't go to STEM. They don't go to science, technology, etc.
I think because they, you know, like us, see that this is an area where we can do good, right? It's an altruistic profession. And to know that you're doing, you know, mechanical engineering, you go work in an oil field, you know, that's great. I mean, you can feed your family, do lots of great things, but you don't necessarily feel the same thing you feel when you create a new medical therapy.
Yeah. What kind of things do you do as far as funding? You said that, you know, you look for funding and all those kind of things. What kind of things do you guys do? Do you do like galas or you know?
No. Most of the funding we get is from venture capital or from other large companies. We call them strategics, but they're just large companies that are already in the space, right? They're in cardiovascular medicine, and they typically have their own kind of venture arms or business development arms, and they help fund these early startups. But the majority of it's venture capital. Many early stage concepts for new medical therapy, though, have been funded by NIH in the past, and I'm a little worried about the future of that funding. We'll have to see how that plays out, but I think a lot of people are concerned
And
that
give people an idea
some
of when you talk about funding. They say these things take millions, billions of dollars to develop because it takes years. This isn't something you build and 2 weeks later or 2 years later it comes to market.
No, you're exactly right. Even so, they're kind of in our world of med device, there are two major segments of products. There's what we call 510K products, which are kind of products that are similar to other products on the market. So they go through a simpler regulatory process. And then there's PMA products, and those are the more complex, more novel products. There are some other categories, but those are the two major ones. And a 510K from the time that you start till the time you complete it is 2.5 to 3.5 years, maybe, something like that. The regulatory approval is typically about 90 to 120 days, so it's not too bad, but you have to put together a whole lot of validation of your product to submit. A PMA is 5, 6, 7 years, depending upon how novel it is.
Wow.
And the pivotal clinical trial alone can be 60 to 100 million dollars.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Really amazing.
Which is what I hear in this building all the time. Is difficult to get people to invest into.
Yes.
I can put my money somewhere else and get a faster, more predictable return. But I may not save people's lives with the new shopping center I'm going to build.
Yeah, but I would also argue the venture capitalists are not there to be altruistic. They're there to make money.
Right.
And so there is money to be made when you succeed.
Yeah.
And you feel good about what you did also. I mean, the venture capitalists share in that. And they're taking risk
Yeah. Yeah.
to invest in you. So it's a tough job for them,
Absolutely.
to figure out, look into the future and figure out what's going to work and what's not.
Now, what are some of these other patents that you're working on?
Well, I'd say most recently I've worked on a therapy for treating heart failure. Heart failure is much more common today because we've gotten really good at treating patients with heart attacks,
Yeah.
right? And so many heart attacks used to kill people, and now people survive after a heart attack, but many of them end up with a long life with heart failure. And so we have to figure out better ways to manage those patients with heart failure. And then the other is preventative stroke therapy, a way to help patients that have condition called atrial fibrillation, and those patients are at risk of stroke, and so they have to be on anticoagulation for the rest of their life, and this is an alternative to taking anticoagulation for the rest of your life. So, I guess one of the fun things and challenges in what I do is that you have to know the medicine deeply. I have to be able to talk to cardiologists or surgeons at their level, okay? And then you have to know the biomedical engineering. How do I design these devices? How do I compete? What's the regulatory and quality process? And then I have to know this thing, what I call the business of innovation, right? Which is, how do I raise money? How do I manage how do I manage the people? What's the strategy of development? There's how do I manage the intellectual property, the patents? So all those things have to come together to do this kind of innovation. And it's a challenge, but it's also makes it a lot more fun that you have such breadth in that requirement to do it. So I feel like I have to be a student all my life, which I enjoy.
Yeah, which is great. I'm the same. I love reading. I do it all the time. So that's awesome. Your staff. So what does your staff consist of? I know you're the CEO, but like everything's about culture, right? And you're I'm sure. I mean, you've got probably a bunch of scientists that work for you and work with you to make this thing happen. So
yeah. So I've most all of my guys are biomedical engineers. Many of them have master's degrees. One has a PhD. Even the lady who does our HR, admin, and finance has a chemical engineering degree. So
wow.
I guess we're kind of nerd central, but we have a really good time together. Everybody has a good sense of humor. The process of doing R&D means we run into problems a lot. Things don't behave the way you want them to, especially when they're kind of pushing the limits. And so solving those problems and solving them together, really important part of what we do, because people shouldn't go into R&D if they're concerned about failure because
Right.
you fail 90% of the time plus. Yeah.
Wow.
And we always ask every executive that comes in here, what is your executive style? How do you do good by the people around you? I know you're doing good work, and it's realizing in the community with saving lives. How do you run your corporation? How do you run your entity?
Well, I think for me, I've learned a lot about management over the years. You know, I was 15 years at Edwards, which, you know, we had thousands of employees there.
Wow.
I think the key lessons I've learned is about transparency. You get to know who I am.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm comfortable with myself, and, you know, and I'm going to be very honest with you all the time. My word is my bond. I'm going to do what I say. If something changes, I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of that transparency, earnestness, being yourself, and then kind of, you know, engagement. My expectation is not that everything's going to work. It's
Right.
okay, right? But I expect you to be transparent about what you're struggling with, so I can hopefully be a resource to you.
Right.
So a lot of my job is really setting strategic direction and, you know, again, you know, fundraising, interfacing with lots of people. I know I couldn't tell you how many physicians from around the world
Yeah. Yeah.
I've worked with over the years. But all those things become critical when you're developing a company, that you know, your reputation, what you've done, how you act, how you interface with others is really critical. And so that's kind of the way I try to
Yeah.
run
Yeah.
this organization.
Right. Awesome. Well, you know, one of my biggest joys is interviewing guys like you, because, I mean, I'm a director of a college, but I still want to do more in my life. I mean, I still like to be a CEO someday. And so when I meet CEOs of companies, I really not grill them, but I really ask a lot of questions, because I want to know, like, how they run their organizations and things like that. So I'm glad you came, and I'm glad I got a chance to sit down with you. I mean, what you're doing is at a whole completely different level than what I would probably ever know in my whole life, but it's just interesting. And
I
great
mean,
stuff.
I feel privileged to be able to do this kind of work, you know, and you know, a lot of people retire before, you know, I'm planning on it because I really feel like I can contribute, and I want to keep my brain active.
Absolutely.
And I think we can do some good. And, you know, as long as my health is there, and I also really believe in staying healthy,
Yeah.
I want to keep doing this for patients,
Yeah.
because it's a privilege to do this. But I also try to do some important stuff on the outside. I work with Discovery Cube of Orange County, so I've been on their board for many, many years and part of their executive board. That's the Children's Science Center, if you don't know, up in
Off of the 5 freeway over there, right?
yes, well, yes,
I
55.
took my grandson
55.
there a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a place on the freeway with what looked like a big block.
That's right.
The
The
big
Cube.
cube.
We
The
call it
Cube.
the Cube.
Cube.
Yeah, fabulous organization that's really into experiential science to stimulate kids.
Yeah.
And they have a wonderful mission, and again, a pleasure to serve them. I do work with a lot of students, though, William, and I've enjoyed working. I've worked on the advisory board in biomedical engineering at Brown University, Georgia Tech, Texas A&M, of course here at UCI for many years, and also at UC Davis.
Wow.
So
We'll have
I've
to get him over
interfaced-
to your college here. Give a quick plug for your college there, William, what you're with.
Okay. So I'm with Oak Valley College. Oak
Oh,
Valley
okay.
College is we're a nonprofit Christian business college.
Uh-huh.
We have 2 campuses, one in Santa Ana and one in Rialto. So students get a bachelor's degree in business in 2 years and 8 months. No debt.
Wow.
No debt. Yeah.
That's huge. That's
Yeah.
huge. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. I
And the
love that.
majority of kids that are going through your program have never, our kids probably wouldn't have gone to college.
Yeah. We target those first generation college students, the ones that can't afford these big USC's and UCLA's of the world. And yeah, and a lot of the kids are doing well. I mean, they come in and their GPA is probably not as great as some of the other schools would accept, but you know, they come in and we take care of them and we nurture them all the way through the program, and they're getting their degrees and they're going on to
And
grad
you
school.
keep
and
them
do
as
some
a
great things.
cohort. I mean, these are like literally 10, 15, 20 kids that you guide through, and they're together supporting each other, not just randomly going to classes here.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I think GPA is a little overblown. I don't think it's a great measure of a kid's potential.
Right.
I love to just talk to kids and find out, you know, who are they?
Right.
What motivates them? And you want, you know, obviously want them to be literate and hardworking, but there are a lot of reasons why kids don't have great GPAs. Maybe they were working, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe they were distracted. Maybe they had to take care of siblings. But
I can't help but insert this. I love watching David Brooks, the conservative columnist for the New York Times, and he's really gone on a crusade about education as of the last couple of years. And he says, we set the system up for merit. I get it. So we had to measure, you know, who's performing, who's succeeding. But is grades the only way to measure? Because when you come out, is that really, was your grade point average the indicator of how you're going to do? Or do you have to be cooperative, and do you have to be a leader, and do you have to be empathetic? All these qualities it takes to run a team don't come through in a GPA necessarily.
Right.
I'm there 100%.
Yeah.
And I really think, you know, having people that can work together collaboratively in a team and think creatively, how do they problem solve? It has nothing to do with your GPA.
Right. Right.
So, you know, I'm not looking for people who have failed, but
But maybe there's other measurements of
Yeah.
success that we're not looking at.
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Or
I mean,
qualities we want. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, some kid that shows up with a GPA of 3.8 versus 3.3, I could really care less.
I love that. I love it because it's so true. Yeah. Yeah. I've interviewed guys. I was a human resource director for 6 years, and I would interview guys that would talk about that. You know, they like I'm in and they're kind of moving
It
slow.
might be
and-
creative, or might be a great team player, or motivator,
Yeah.
or support, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are so many characteristics that make people effective at work, and you know, getting along is key, right? Being empathetic, being a team player, know what that looks like. Sometimes these kids who've played some kind of sport, they learn a lot from that, and I think that's really helpful. So what they did on the outside is really important, and I give kids a special credit if they've, you know, I've interviewed kids who've, worked at a Krispy Kreme's, or they've worked at lots of different places while they're going to school, and boy, I respect that. That's not easy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I love that never say die attitude, but we got it. I can never say enough. We got to go on here. So how do we reach you if anybody wants to find out more? Or are you open to conversations? If these kids want to call you up or contact you or something, any way to get mentorship or further conversations? That's what they're all hoping. They don't want to just listen to you. They want to meet you somewhere.
You know, I actually did. So they had, I think about 100 kids here at UCI over the summer, who were some of the top students in like 3 counties here. And they had a high school program that was STEM based for these kids. And I came in and talked with them, and they were so impressive. I can tell you, I walked out of meeting with these kids with a real optimism for our future, that we're going to hand this world off to the kids like this. They were really amazing. And I got a ton of LinkedIn connections.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to reach out, I think I only have 4,600 connections on LinkedIn. I need to build that a little bit.
Yeah. Today's world. Oh, come on. Yeah. All right. So your name again is?
Stanton Rowe, R-O-W-E.
And they can look you up on LinkedIn. All
Yes.
right. How do they reach you, William, if they want to learn more about the innovative program that you lead at Oak Valley College?
Go to oakvalley.edu, or you can call and we can get you guys started if you want to fill out an application and come to school. It's
Are you a LinkedIn guy? Can they link you?
I am on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. I post probably 5-6 days a week on LinkedIn.
I see them all the time.
I don't know if that's good or not, but I post a lot on LinkedIn. So they can reach me there too.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming in. It really gives us hope that the people are doing good and that we can do good together. Because too often I think we're in a world where everybody's doing it on their own thing. We're not working together. We're not rowing the ship in the same direction too often. So thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for inviting me. Really enjoyed the discussion.
Yeah, it's great to meet you. Great to meet you. I'm going to stay. Oh.
That's okay. You got something else you want to say? Go ahead.
I'm good. I'm good.
All right. I'm going to cut you off. All right. See, this just wants to go on and on. Once you find good people talking about good things, they don't want to stop here. That's what we're doing here. Defining good together, unpacking leadership, loyalty, and doing the right thing. Right here in Orange County's only community conversation, OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studios here at the University of California Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.